Toronto FC just this weekend announced the signing of new designated player, Venezuelan Yeferson Soteldo. Yeferson Soteldo is coming in from the Brazilian league from Santos for a $6.5 million transfer fee. He's a 23-year-old Venezuelan international left winger. And this is a huge signing for TFC because this designated player signing is very different from any other DP signing Toronto FC has made, because Soteldo is the youngest designated player we have ever signed. He's currently 23 years old, turns 24 in June. So unfortunately, he just barely misses the cutoff for qualifying as a 23 or under designated player, because you have to be 23 throughout the entire season. But he still is a designated player signing for the future, and this is very new for Toronto FC. Usually all of our DP signings are guys coming in from Europe in their prime. Guys like Michael Bradley, who was 26, Josie Altidore, who was 25, Sebastian Giovinco, who was 28. A 23-year-old designated player is the first time that Toronto FC is signing a younger designated player who's coming here and hasn't reached his prime yet. It's the first time that we're getting a designated player who's going to grow as a player continually once he comes to Toronto and reach his full potential. A guy whose full potential has not been reached yet. And that's really exciting. And it's not going to be a situation like with Giovinco or right now Pozuelo, where we know the first 2-3 seasons are the best it's going to be, and then it's just going to start going downhill. This is a guy who, in 3 years, he's just going to be getting into his full prime. So it's going to be really interesting to see, first off, if we keep him long term, or if this is a buy, raise his value, and then sell to Europe move that MLS has been starting to lean towards with younger South American DPs. Or if this is a long term, he's our player for the next 5, 6, 7 years, maybe longer, depending on how well he fits in Toronto and how well he plays and performs in MLS. But about the player himself and his play style. Soteldo, or I'm going to call him Yeferson because I just love the fact that his name is Yeferson. Yeferson is a left winger. Well, okay, he's a winger, but he's typically on the left wing. He's more comfortable on the left wing. He plays more often on the left wing for Santos. Very skilled and creative on the ball, very good at getting crosses into the box, deking around players on the wing, deking around defenders on the wing, and then getting crosses into the box. He's going to be very good linking up with Toronto FC's big, strong strikers that like to get into the box, like Josie Altidore and Ayo Akinola. I think he has potential to set those two guys up for some of their best seasons ever, honestly. Last year in 2020, he was in the Copa Libertadores Best 11 and was on the Brazilian League Team of the Year. So he is one of the premier players in South America right now, one of the better players in Brazil right now. Full Venezuelan international, plays regular minutes for this Venezuelan national team. Always exciting when you guy who gets regularly capped at the international level, especially a guy who gets capped at the international level in Common Bowl, because all those teams are quite good. The only negative of that is because of the way the MLS scheduling works and how MLS doesn't always break for international breaks, how MLS rarely breaks for international breaks because we're dumb. We're going to miss him for quite a bit, especially if there's travel restrictions going back and forth due to COVID. So if he goes to Venezuela to play for them in World Cup qualifiers or whatnot this summer, we could miss him while he's in the World Cup qualifiers and then miss him for possibly another week or so if he has to quarantine or whatever when he gets back. Also, the elephant in the room, he is a 5'2", 120 pounds apparently, according to Google. So he is a tiny guy. He's a very skilled guy though. He is probably the epitome of the tiny skilled player. I was going to say another Giovinco, but he's significantly smaller than Giovinco. For some reason, Giovinco, then Piatti, and now Yeferson, we're seeming to have a trend of consistently shorter small designated players, because Giovinco was 5'4", Piatti was 5'3", and now Soteldo is 5'2". So I don't know why this is the trend that we're going with, but hey, I mean, it seems to work. Giovinco was possibly the greatest player MLS has ever seen, and Piatti, well, not fantastic, was pretty decent. However, Yeferson, I feel like he seems like a better option than Piatti. He's younger, going into his prime, and also more of a left wing, whereas Piatti was more of a right wing. But I think that's less important right now. I think what the biggest key for him is going to be, and what we need him to do the most, is just set up Altidore and Akinola, because those two guys, they're big, strong strikers who can get into the box and push off defenders and get in the air and get the ball into the net. So if they have a quality winger setting them up, giving them great crosses in, which it looks like from all accounts that Soteldo is able to do, Akinola, Altidore are just going to be laughing all season, especially if they also have Pozuelo setting them up whenever he comes back from injury. This is a piece that looks very, very good for Toronto FC. It gives them a high-quality winger, which we didn't have. Schaffelberg's been looking great to start the season in that position, but Soteldo has the potential to be an elite player in MLS. And to add him to an attacking unit that already has Altidore, if he can get healthy, that already has Akinola, that already has Pozuelo, that right there is an extra piece that I think is what puts this TFC team up to a true strong attacking threat in MLS. Because before this, Pozuelo, Akinola, Altidore, good, but if any one of those guys is hurt, the machine kind of breaks. With Soteldo, we now have multiple options. We don't need Pozuelo every game to run the offense. We have a guy who can do stuff on the wing, and this is a big thing that TFC did not have for a lot of last season and 2 seasons ago in 2019, is we didn't really have guys who could control the play on the wings and make plays on the wings and run the play from the wings. And I think Soteldo finally gives us the guy who can run the play from the wing, control the game from the wing, and just get the crosses into the box that our strikers are begging for, because they are just so talented and so strong on the ball that any quality winger, and it's money. So that's the rundown on Yeferson Soteldo, what I think of our new designated player signing. I am so excited that we finally have gone for a younger, up-and-coming South American designated player. It's going to be really interesting to see how he fits into this Toronto FC team, but I think he's going to fit in very well, and I'm so excited to see how it turns out and how TFC plays with a proper, talented, designated player on the wing. So that does it for this video. If you liked it, hit like. If you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.